Okay, so we're going to use the song to move into our time of meditation. And I'm choosing a song that uses words from A Course in Miracles. And this is from a lesson entitled, I Am Spirit. I am Spirit. Can we say that together? I am Spirit. Such a simple, deep, essential truth. I am Spirit. And this song has evolved. There are two parts to it, so I'll get you chanting that, but in Italian. So you just have to guess what that would be. I'm kidding. The words in Italian are Io sono spirito. So you ready to sing a little Italian this morning? So Io sono spirito. And so, but as you sing that, remember you're just claiming who you are as Spirit. And then once you get started, I'll sing another part over the top in English, paraphrased from that reading. And you'll hear me singing, Spirit am I, a holy child of God, free to forgive, safe and healed and whole. And we are that. We're claiming who we already are, that same ageless, eternal self we were just talking about. So the song will start soft, build up big, come back down soft, and then we'll just move into silence. And after a short while in the silence, I'll lead a little guided meditation to close. Okay. So let's do a repeat after me. Io sono spirito. Okay. Now this is Italian, it's not Latin, we're not going back to Catholic school. So some people start adding S's on the end, like, so it's just, they all end in the letter O, if you can remember that helps too. Okay, I am Spirit. Let's close our eyes. Just take a deep breath in. Io sono spirito, io sono spirito, io sono spirito. Goes down a little. Io sono spirito, io sono spirito, io sono spirito, io sono spirito. Keep singing. Io sono spirit, spirit am I, a holy child of God, free to forgive, safe and healed and whole. Spirit am I, a holy child of God, free to forgive, safe and healed and whole. Io sono spirito, free to forgive, safe and healed and whole, Spirit and I, a holy child of God, free to forgive, safe and healed and whole. Be your son of spirit, 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 Spirit am I. Spirit am I. I am Spirit, a holy child of God, free to forgive, safe and healed and whole. And as Spirit, I hold a deep well of peace inside. A deep well of stillness. And as I look out these eyes into my world, I look from peace. I look from that place of stillness. And I bring it to every situation because I am Spirit. I am Spirit. Let's say that together. I am Spirit together. I am Spirit. I am peace together. I am peace. I am stillness. I am stillness. And so it is, and so we are. channel this is. Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3. It is on? Okay.
A little closer to your triangle.
I'll eat the mic. Okay. But then you can't see my mouth. Try this. Well, good morning. What? I feel like I've been doing a concert already. It's kind of, can we turn it up a little so I'm not doing this? Would that be possible? Is that okay? Okay, thanks. Well, my talk this morning is called Flow, Flow, Flow Your Boat. Trust is not a dream. There it is. So I want to look at various ways trust has truly shown up in my life. And I often think that I wonder if trust is really the only thing ministers really need to talk about. You know, because maybe that's the whole story of life. Can we just let go and trust God? You know? So I love it when a speaker starts with a joke, so I have a joke for you. Are you ready? So I'm that kind of person. You ever, like I give a back massage the way I like to receive a back massage? Are you that way? They may not like it, but that's how I like it. So this is on Sunday afternoon. There are these two guys looking for something to do, and one of them has a small private plane, and they decide they're going to fly out over the ocean for an hour or two. And they're out in like half an hour or so, and suddenly they have engine trouble, and they have to do an emergency landing on some little island. And on the way down, they discover that their radio is broken. They can't even call for help. So they get down safely, and they're out of their plane, standing on the beach there, and going. And one guy is really nervous about the whole thing, and the other guy is unusually calm. He's just peaceful about the whole situation. And the nervous guy says, "What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We have no food. We have no water." The other guy says, "Well, just relax. I feel like it's going to be okay. Just trust." "No, but I'm like, our radio's broken. We can't call for help." "Well, what are we going to do?" He says, "Well, just relax. I'm sure it's going to all work out." "But what do you mean it's going to work out? I mean, we have no food. We have no water." And the calm guy says, "Well, something you may not know about me is that back home, my investments are doing really well. In fact, I'm bringing in $10,000 a week. Who cares? We need to call someone on the radio. It's broken." "Well, I don't think you're getting what I'm saying. You know, I bring in $10,000 a week, and I tithe 10% of that to my Unity Church. And I know my minister will find me." Trust. Well, I've had many adventures in this. 2 days ago was my 36th anniversary when I took a leap out of my architecture career into doing this full time. So I call it my budding architecture career. Well, thank you. It was a leap. It's just, I remember my aunt heard about it. She said, your grandfather would roll over in your grave if you heard that you got this whole architecture degree and now you're going around singing for love offerings. So, anyway. So one of the things that it's happened to me, I ended up traveling to Italy a lot over the last 20 years, twice a year, 3 times a year, being paid to go to Italy. 1 year, I was flown there 5 times. That's almost too much, the body clock change back and forth. But who here would like to go to Italy with me sometime this year? I have a way for you to do that. We can talk later. So I'm singing for this intensive on a little island off the coast of Sicily. And it's like a 4-day intensive, and then the event wraps up, and the organizer pays me my fee, and I submit my miscellaneous expenses, which we always did, and this time it was $90. And she says, "Well, this time we're not going to pay that." And my stomach kind of twisted a little bit, and I thought, well, that doesn't feel fair. But at the same time, I heard a voice in my head, my inner voice said, "Just let it go. Just let it go. You're always covered, you're always taken care of. There's a bigger plan afoot, just let it go." And you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. At the same time, if you found $90 on the sidewalk, you'd be pretty excited, but just let it go. So I did, and shook her hand, thanked her very much, went on my merry way, and I had a flight connection that got into the Rome airport and had to change terminals and scurry over to the American Airlines desk to get in line to get my boarding pass there. This first airline couldn't give it to me. It was a few years ago, before everything's on your phone. And so I get in line. I had 45 minutes before departure, so I think I'm in good shape. I'm like 6th in line. So 10 minutes goes by, and I'm still 6th in line. I'm starting to get a little nervous. Now, something else that's part of the story is I've flown so much with American Airlines that many times over the years, they've given me this free upgrade to business class. And that's a nice big cushy seat for that 9-hour flight, so thank you very much, American Airlines. And I had one reserved for this flight, and I had it for like 3 months, so I knew I was going to have this great seat. So I get up, time moves on, 10 minutes more pass, and I'm 5th in line. Finally, at time of departure, it's finally my turn to get to talk to the gate agent. And she says, "I'm sorry, sir, but your business class seat is no longer available." Again, my stomach, like, okay, another thing doesn't feel fair, but okay, what am I going to do? So she says, if you must have a business class seat, we might have one on tomorrow's flight or the next day. They fly one a day. And I'm not going to wait around 2 days or whatever. So, but then she says, however, if you'd be willing to go on this flight, we do have a seat for you in coach. It's an aisle seat. And for your inconvenience, American Airlines, if you take this seat, we would be willing to give you flight vouchers for future flights on American in the amount of $3,000. So I looked down and shuffled my feet and said, well, I guess that would be okay. And I got on the flight. It was fine. No big deal, and ended up bumping into an old friend I hadn't seen. I might not have even run into her back in coach. And about an hour into the flight, it dawned on me, what had just happened that day? I heard that inner voice, and it said, there's a bigger plan afoot. You're always covered. Just let it go. You're always covered. You're taken care of. And I let go of $90 on one side to turn around and catch $3,000 coming in from another side. And if I hadn't let go of that, I don't know if this would have happened. I don't know. I wonder. But I stepped into trust. I said, there's a bigger plan afoot. Just let go. Just know you're taken care of. And look what showed up. And that $3,000 I used for my mission here, to go to various towns. And many times, like you guys didn't pay my airplane ticket. I'm sticking my neck out and saying I'm going to put together a little tour, and it's going to all work out. I'm always covered. And so here the universe shows up and supports me in my work. Something I can totally use, all these airplane vouchers. So thank you, God, for ways that life shows up when we just release, let go, and know there's a bigger plan afoot. Flow, flow, flow your boat. Trust is not a dream. Can we flow with that? Can we flow with trust? Many years ago, in the late 80s, early 90s, I used to tour with a good friend. He's an author and wonderful speaker. His name was Alan Cohen. Does that name ring a bell with anybody? Dear friend. He wrote a book called The Dragon Doesn't Live Here Anymore. Recently, he put out a new book called A Course in Miracles Made Easy. So if that appeals to you, maybe find that book. I remember from the stage, he would say, he'd invite the audience to like roll up their fingers, like this. So you're just looking through a little pinprick, and just look around the room. Can I invite you to do that? Just take your right hand and whatever hand, and roll up your fingers and look around the room, just like through this little pinprick, right? And what he said was, out of everything that's happening, this is about how much you can see. We think we know so much, but this is about the extent maybe. That might be an over-exaggeration. And then he said, then unfurl your fingers. He says, this is what God sees. And the kind of joke on ourselves is that we're busy trying to control everything based on this much information. And then he said, are you willing to resign your role as general manager of the universe based on this much information? Are there any general managers of the universe in the room? There are a few. probably more than they're admitting. And I encourage you to resign your role based on this much information and step into trust again. There's no way we can know the big picture. You know, we're given what we're given. Maybe that's where guidance comes in. If I could just listen to that voice, maybe that's the source of how do I move forward and trust. Yeah, because it's not going to happen this way. I wrote a song years ago called In Time, and it kind of looks at the same thing. And the lyrics on the chorus go, in time, we see the working out, and we find that there's peace there. And so think of some mess you were in like 5 years ago, and when you're in the middle of it, you didn't see your way out of it. How's this going to work? How's this going to play out? Oh my God. But as time went on, you see, oh, that had to happen because that led to this, and that led to this, and all these puzzle pieces start to be more apparent. And it resolves itself in a peaceful way. And then what if you took that pencil and applied it to whatever mess you're in today? Knowing that in time you'll see the working out, and it will resolve in peace. That principle. There's a great quote from A Course in Miracles that says much the same thing. It's a simple one-liner. This would go great on your dashboard or your mirror. Trust would settle every problem now. Now. If I can just step into trust, you'll solve it now. Because it's that same thing, just can you let it go? Can you give it over? Trust would settle every problem now. Can we say that together? Trust would settle every problem now. Sometimes you have to breathe into it. The practice, isn't it? All of this is a practice. That's why we come to church on Sunday, isn't it? To remember what we need to keep practicing. I need another reminder. Keep me on course. I have a friend from the first church I went to. It was the Houston Unity. I started going there in 1980 when I lived in Houston. And a good buddy of mine there, Springborn is his name. He's one of these one-name people like Madonna, Cher. Springborn. And he's what they call the Renaissance man that's so good at so many things. Music, arts, brain research. And I know. And he said something to me that really struck me, really stuck in my mind. He said, Charlie, you know what I love to do? He said, I love living my life out on the leading edge of my ignorance. I like living my life out on the leading edge of my ignorance. Out on the edge of what I don't know yet. The ignorance is not stupidity, it's just what we don't know yet. Out on the edge of where the adventure is. Where's the new stuff? Where do I keep growing? Out on the edge of what I don't know yet. And that takes trust. That takes being willing to leap into new things and new territory where, I don't know how to do that yet. I'm not comfortable here. Are you willing to be uncomfortable?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, there's a workshop leader. I never said this in church before, but I love this. He had a T-shirt. I showed up to a weekend retreat, and he was wearing a shirt and said, "Comfort the afflicted, afflict the comfortable." That's great. So he felt like part of his job was to afflict the comfortable. That's to get you off your spot. So if we're just living with what we know, what's comfortable and know, and where's the adventure in that? If you always do what you've always done, where are you growing? Where are you stretching? So I invite you to live out a little bit on the leading edge of your ignorance. There's another quote from A Course in Miracles. It says, I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because he who sent me will direct me. And sometimes we find ourselves in kind of situations like, what do I do? What do I do? Well, just know that it will be given. Can we step into trust? I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do, because he who sent me will direct me. And sometimes showing up is really the biggest part of the puzzle. It's like, can I just show up and know it will be given? How can I support? How can I be helpful? Can I trust that I will hear? I can listen and follow. So the real thing is to just show up and know that you can step in and be supportive. There's what was it? I do not have to worry about what to say or what to do. Mark Twain had a great quote about worry. Maybe you've heard it. He said, pretty much everything I've ever worried about never happened. He proved that worrying works. Good job, Mark. I want to share another quote. This is from a naturopath friend of mine in California. I live in Santa Cruz, California. And she said something to me that changed my life, maybe 8 years ago. And she said, the body loves circulation. The body loves circulation. If you think about that, of course it does. It needs to move the juices and cleanse and clear out and just keep things moving. And you know what that one quote did? It got me walking every day. And I'd been kind of stuck in just not being, I've been kind of sedentary. I thought, you know what? That is so true. I need to do that. And I've become a walker and changed my diet a little bit, and I feel like I'm so much healthier as a result. So the body loves circulation. But the reason I mention it is because what's also true is our relationships need circulation. Our relationships, need that flow and the cleaning and cleansing and moving the juices and not just being sedentary and stuck. And I noticed that, I'm going to use a metaphor, and I hope this isn't too graphic. I apologize ahead of time if it is, but we've all been there. In the past, when I've had the flu, many times you would find me on the bathroom floor hugging the cold tile. Is anyone else familiar with this? You just trying to stay in my body, just trying to cool off, and as I'm lying there, 9 times out of 10, my body really wants to vomit. It's like begging me, please, let's see if we get this thing. But I, on the other hand, I do not want to vomit. I don't want to go through that. I don't like it, and don't make me vomit. But if I would just release it and let it go, I'd feel so much better. Are you aware of this principle of life? Well, guess what? It applies to our relationships. And sometimes I don't know if it's mainly the men, but have you ever been like in a situation, in a relationship, and there's this issue, you really should address, you really should talk about it, but I've been historically a don't rock the boat kind of person, so can I creep around this situation without mentioning it, talking about it, and eventually maybe it'll just go away. And we're fine, right? We're all fine, right? No. But, the relationships need circulation, need to clear. Let's just address it. And really the crux of it is, do you believe that your love, and you need to believe that your love is stronger than any issue that comes up? And what does that require? Trust. Can I trust that our love is bigger than any issue that we may need to address? Now we're really hitting the rubber to the road here and bring our spiritual principles into our relationships. Can I trust our love is bigger than whatever issue? Trust would settle every problem now. Let's breathe into that. I feel the room, we could use a breath. Trust. Yeah. I knew you said quicker too. What's your name? Paula. Paula said quicker too. I had a workshop leader back in the 80s. He would say, tell the truth quicker. Tell the truth faster. That was one of his mottos. Well, I want to close by quoting a minister in San Jose, California. I was doing the music and he was speaking that day. And he stood up and he kind of started his talk with a big confession to the congregation. And he said, I have to confess to you guys, every Sunday when I stand up here, I'm really giving you the same talk. I'm just trying to think of a different way to say it. And he says, if I were to boil it down, I'm really just saying 3 things. Everything is God. This includes you. Act accordingly. Isn't that good? Everything is God. This includes you. Act accordingly. Let's say it as I statements, okay? So everything is God. This includes me. And I act accordingly. Once more. Everything is God. This includes me. And I act accordingly. So as you kind of settle into that thought, those thoughts, if everything is God, and this includes me, and I act accordingly, where does trust figure into that? Well, if we really step into that knowing and awareness of who we are at that level, trust becomes innate and almost even beyond even being necessary. If we can really step into who we are at that level, then we're really beyond the need for trust, because we've stepped into that flow, that God consciousness, that awareness of it's all already working just fine. Yeah. It becomes built in. It's just like, so maybe that is the real goal. How much can we peel away, this illusion that we're living in, and move into that true awareness that's even beyond trust, beyond forgiveness. And that is why we come to church, because we're still reaching to that. Everything is God. This includes me. And I act accordingly as I step into trust more and more, as I step into becoming built in, innate, because I'm in the flow. I know I'm already in the knowing that it's all in divine order. Already. And then I can truly flow my boat, knowing trust is not a dream. And so it is. So it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Charley. Thank you very much. Thank you for reminding us that trust is the key.